Hello and welcome to Daily Politics, reaching you from Trust TV here in Abuja. On this program, we discuss issues around politics, policy and governance. I am Shafiu Sulaiman. Tonight, we will be looking at FCT area councils elections. The Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, has fixed February 12th for the FCT area council elections. There are 6 area councils and a total of 62 wards in the FCT. Namely, Abaji, Abuja Municipal Council, Amak, Buari, Gwagwalada, Kuje, and Kwali. So far, there are 475 chairmanship and councillorship candidates representing the 18 registered political parties that are participating in the election, including the ruling APC and the main opposition party, the PDP. All are vying for a total of 68 positions in the election. 110 candidates are contesting for the chairmanship and vice chairmanship positions, while 365 candidates are vying for the 62 councillorship positions. INEC has said that a bimodal voter accreditation system, VBAS, which has trailed in the November 6 governorship election in Anambra State, would also be used for the FCT council election. The FCT has a total of 1,373,492 registered voters. APC has raised a 13-member campaign council for the election with 2 governors as chairmen, suggesting that the election is very crucial to the ruling party. The PDP, which currently holds the most coveted council seat, Amak, has also been busy planning towards the election. Take that again. The APC, which is currently holding the coveted council seat, Amak, has also been busy planning towards the election holding Saturday next week. I have with me FCT, APC, PRO, Adaji Usman, and Emmanuel Inyang, representing the PDP candidate for Amak in person of Honorable Christopher Zaka Kalangu. Welcome to Daily Politics.
Thank you.
It's nice to be here.
Before we commence the program proper, we'll take a short break. We'll be back shortly. Stay with us. Thank you very much for staying with us. It's still Daily Politics, and we are commencing the discussion. Today we're looking at the FCT election, which is scheduled to hold next Saturday, perhaps upper Saturday, right? 12th of February 2022. And here we have some of the critical stakeholders representing the major opposition party, the PDP, and the ruling APC. Let me start with you, Mr. Adaji Osman.
Yeah.
Going to be the publicity secretary
Yeah.
of APC in the FCT.
That's true.
This, some will say, is a very, very crucial election now, looking at the centrality, if you like, or the position of FCT in the nation's polity. Let me start by getting your level of preparation. I understand the APC is holding, 4 of the 6 council areas. How do you intend to consolidate, perhaps wrestle the remaining 2 from the PDP, to complete the cycle? How prepared is the APC?
Well, we thank you very much. We are very prepared, fully prepared.
Yeah.
In the first place, this election is as important as presidential election to us. Reasons being that this is the closest government to the people. The government, the office is about the people. Now, it is absolutely difficult for people to assess their ministers, assess governors in states where there are governors, and other very senior political office holders. But it's quite closer for them to assess their local government chairman and the councillors. So that is the most closest and the most important government to the people. So to us, if democracy is about the people, then this election is as important as that. So we are giving in everything to make sure that, God's willing, we will not just only consolidate on the 4 area councils, but have to take the 6 area councils. Don't forget, in the last, between 2016 and 2019, we had 5/6, and few months later, we had the 6 area councils to ourselves.
Right. Okay. Before now, Mr. Emmanuel,
yes,
the PDP has been holding sway. At some point, I think in 2003 to be precise, you are, holding forth in about 5 local governments. 5 area councils.
That's true.
Leaving only 1 for the APC.
Yeah.
For the AMPP then?
For the AMPP, yeah, that's right. So, looking at, the changing in the main scenario and the political calculations, now the PDP, some would say, is on the edge. Even though it has been showing also tremendous, performances in the previous elections at the national level and so on. How is PDP preparing to take a rebound, perhaps going back to what it used to do, dislodging the opposition, even though then the APC wasn't there, but the AMPP, which is a part of the conglomeration of the APC, was there?
Well, first and foremost, I want to sincerely thank you for giving us this opportunity to be here. As the name implies, our names are People's Democratic Party. We believe in the democracy of our people, and we believe in giving everybody opportunity to exhibit the democratic norms that is expected of him or her. Having said so, like you rightly said, PDP has been holding sway for a while before we lost out to the APC in some of our area councils that we're in charge of. But today, the ball games keep changing. As you are aware, presently the PDP holds the position of the Senate, also holds the position of the 2 federal constituencies that we all have in the Federal Capital Territory. And we hold the area council of Kuje and that of Buhari area council, while the other 4 goes to the present APC. Politics is dynamic, and politics is all about human, and changes keep coming in and out. People keep deciding their fate as events unfold. And here we are, come 12 February, Nigerians will decide again their fate. And for us as a people, as a party, we've been able to reach out to the people, for the people to take the decision by themselves. And we strongly believe that so far so good. Nigerians residing in the 6 area council will decide their fate based on what they have today and what they have then.
Okay, based on what they have today, Mr. Adaji,
yeah.
Back to you now, because, some would say perhaps the entire political atmosphere, the campaign scenario, has to take this shape of issue-based. We're no longer talking about violence or whatever. You have to table what you've done, to be able to earn the confidence of the people. The FCT, has a number of issues, talking about the issue of water supply, inadequacy, talking about that in primary health care delivery, talking about insecurity at some levels. We've seen the proliferation of, gunmen or criminal elements into areas like Abaji, like Walada and the rest of it. And then, ultimately, we're also talking about providing access, people's access to the center in terms of road networks and what have you. How would you, assess, or what would you say will earn you the confidence of the people going into this election?
Well, it is a very simple and obvious thing out there. The people, just like you said, I want to concur with him, that the people will take their fate in their hands. They will vote based on what they have seen on the ground. I will give you an instance. Prior to 2019 area council election, Buhari was in the hands of the All Progressives Congress under the leadership of then Honorable Musa Diko. Between 2016 and 2019, what the APC did in Buhari is the only thing that can be seen till date. I stand to be corrected. That is the only thing that can be seen till date. If you go to Kubwa and East Environs, there is about 2 modern markets that have been established in Kubwa. One is a national park, a national park that leads you to almost every part of this country. in the history of politics in FCT, none of that nature had ever happened. If you go to Mpape and its environs, it will speak for itself. Now, if you go to the interior areas, we went on campaign a few weeks back, and the people kept saying, we wish and we knew that this was what was going to happen, we wouldn't have had or clamored for that change that we had. Because ever since you left, things have turned around negatively, and we're not comfortable. So I think that is a plus to us. Now, if you talk about the issue of road network, if you go to Abaji, you'll be marveled at what you see in Abaji, because the man in Abaji consolidated, because he was there the first tenure and then he had continued for his second tenure. He's there to speak for himself. So we are ready. We are battle ready on the field. When I say battle ready, not the fight. Let me just land this. The people will have to vote based on what they have been able to see on the ground that has been provided by the political parties.
If I understand what he is saying, the presence of the PDP in the past has not been felt by
I heard him very well. What he says is out of place.
Okay.
Those are not facts. They're not factuals. You can't find them anywhere.
Put the facts straight.
The truth of the matter is this. Presently in Buhari Area Council that I referred to, this is one of the areas that development has taken far to the hinterland. We are talking about our local people. He's talking of market in Kuba and Derapa. The local people in the villages in Buhari Area Council are more interested in what comes to them in the village. Good water, road, grading of roads. If the area council cannot provide third road, at least let their road be graded. This is taking place on a monthly and yearly basis, based as the fund comes into the council. Water supply, we've also gone for campaigns, and we've seen these facilities provided by the present government in Buhari Area Council. And that is why the people saw nothing when the APC were in charge in Buhari Area Council, and they vote him out. And that is why the present government is there. And I can assure you, based on the good things the present government have done in Buhari, he is going to be reverted back to power come 12 February.
He's talking about something fundamental, which many also observe, that is neglect of the rural areas or rural communities and so on. There has been concerns with regard to some of the plights of these people. In some cases, people are said to be getting water from fonts and what have you for drinking in Nigeria's capital, Abuja. How would you explain that?
I didn't want to delve into that because if you're talking about the rural areas, health facilities, go to Kau, Tunga Daka, Tunga BGB, if you know those areas, and so on. What the APC, the PDP is claiming that has been done within this time is, as far as we are concerned, nothing. These are the rural areas we're talking about. Go to Shere, Igu, Kau. Igu, that is the place where the present chairman comes from. Go there and let them point out one or two things in terms of water supply, aside what was done by Musadiko. Let them go to Kau and show us one health facilities, probably the issue of, what do you call it now, medical facilities that is provided in Kau, other than what was provided by Musadiko. If you go to, there is a place we call Shere, you understand, Galui. Go to those areas and let them point out to one or two things that has to do with water supplies, with the issue of health facilities, and so on. In terms of education, the educational facilities, what they were able to do in the last 3 years, other than what the previous government of APC had done. I stand to be correct, and I challenge them to point at 1, 2, 3 in these areas I've called, other than what has been put on the ground before. These are facts that speaks for itself. So I didn't just want to begin to name things one after the other, but if we want to go into that, we have our records.
Right, okay. It's throwing a challenge to you now. Well, I'm sure you get the challenge.
You see, when he speaks, it's laughable. Very, very laughable. When you said when you said you can go
citing examples.
That's what I'm saying.
The places and
those example is mentioning. A lot of those health facilities were built by the former previous government of PDP.
Oh my God.
This is the first time, the last time before the present government that the APC came on board. All along has been PDP all through. A lot of facilities have been done. The present government is improving on the ones he came to meet. And is also ensuring that more, like boreholes, health facilities he mentioned, cottage hospitals within the communities that can be used, healthcare facilities, and to also go schools. More classrooms have been built under this present administration, even the one in Mate that were not completed by the former chairman of APC. He has completed them to ensure that the children have a place they can learn. So when he's mentioning that APC government did this, that, where are the records?
I just told you that the facts are there.
I don't want us
what I want you to do, you do what we call investigative journalism. These things we have said, please take your time. Go to those areas, get your facts yourself, and then invite us back to this.
It is synonymous with politicians, with politicians to claim, lay claims.
What is not there.
So that's exactly claims he's doing.
And the build-up to an
he's
election,
claiming what does not exist.
That is why that's why I said you need to investigate yourself and then invite us back to this stage so we can put the records straight.
The electorates, across the 6 area councils know exactly what they're going through. And
exactly.
Of course, they will do justice.
I'm happy you've said that.
They'll do justice.
Yes.
Okay, but then beyond some of these things, anyone can claim and counter-claim and what have you. But then looking at, the configuration and of course the permutations ahead of the election, some say, this issue of ethnicity and what have you would play a role, in determining those who would emerge. Looking at the ancestral, indigenous, if you like, tribes, within the FCT and so on and so forth. I don't know how you're looking at it. You've gone through the campaigns, you've gone around some. Do you think, this issue of ethnic, sentiments would play out?
FCT has gone beyond beyond what we are discussing now, the issue of ethnicity. It's a cosmopolitan area. There's a mini Nigeria. That is the resonance of meaning that we can refer to as mini Nigeria. For us in APC, it is a place where all can have opportunity to participate and be able to bring to bear what they're able to, promise, what they've been able to promise the people. Ab initio. We are not talking about ethnicity now because what is most important to us, tribal affiliations. That is not our issue now. What is most important now is what can you bring to the table? Can you deliver the dividends of democracy to the people? It doesn't matter your tribes. It doesn't matter your religion. It doesn't matter what you believe in. But are you capable? Are you qualified? Do you understand? Do you know what the people want? Can you deliver to the people what they want? That is what is most important. And that is why, even in the choice of our candidates, we know where to bring in an indigene, we know where to bring in the non-indigens. For instance, one of our candidates for the councillorship election in Duse Ward, as we speak today, is a Yoruba man. He's not from FCT, but he has lived in FCT all along. That shows that it is all-encompassing. And the people are very comfortable with him. And they are ready to go out there and then cast their votes in that light, in the fact that they understand that this young man is qualified to represent them at the council. So we are not bothered about
okay. So how is the PDP embracing, this qualities, talking about meritocracy, above any other consideration, looking at the fact that, just like you said, Abuja or the federal capital is a mini Nigeria. You have all, a kind of tribes, but then we also have competent people among all of this. How are you embracing in the PDP this One Nigeria project, and of course bringing candidates who have the capacity, the capability, and the competence to earn the competence also of the electorate?
Let me quickly inform you that if there is any political party that does not believe in ethnicity, is the People's Democratic Party. I'm seated here right now. I'm from Akwa Ibom State. I'm not even from the north. I'm from the south. I'm here representing the People's Democratic Party and its candidate. That is one. Two, the former House of Rep in Abuja and Buhari Federal Constituency, Prince Nicholas Ukachukwu, is an Igbo man. He was a member of the House of Rep here. Senator Maina is from Borno State. He was a House of Rep here. And a host of others. For example, the present PDP chairman, Abuja Municipal Area Council, is from Enugu State. Now, that is to tell you that we believe in what you can bring forward for people to see. Whatsoever quality you have. Maybe my coming here wouldn't have been necessary if the ethnicity thing would have been played out. There are a lot of my brothers from the north. There are a lot of my brothers from the Gbagi tribe and all of that, the Gwandaras and what have you. But then, that was not the issue here.
Okay.
The issue here was you are needed there, go and do the needful.
No, it's about competence now,
Yes.
not where you come from.
Exactly.
Your origin in terms of indigenous affiliations. Just recently, I think you are the one, or someone raised an alarm that the APC as a political party should be watched, because there were allegations of attempt to scuttle, the exercise itself.
I think that was the Barrier Council sitting chairman.
Right.
Yeah, I think
so how do you respond to that? Because, there is a very strong allegation that...
No, I think they are just jittery. They're just jittery. That is a sign of losing election. They're not comfortable. I told people that if you are going for an election, you get yourself prepared for the election. You don't cry foul. You don't cry when it's not necessary. The issue here is we all go out there, campaign to the people, and allow the people to take their decision at the end of the day. As far as to the best of my knowledge, the APC has provided level playground. If what they're alleging was anything to go by, of course, we wouldn't have lost Barrier Council to the PDP in the first place. We had what it takes to scuttle that election if we were not ready to allow people have free level ground.
Is that an option now?
No. I'm just
saying. They have what it takes.
Listen, I'm telling you. No, listen to me. What I'm trying to make you understand here is that we have provided free level ground for everybody to participate. If what they are claiming is anything to go by, we had what it takes to scuttle that election. But we have made, I've repeated that twice here, but we have provided everybody free level ground. Let the people take their decision. If they decide to say, no, PDP is what we want, so be it. If it is APC they want, so be it. What we want is that we want Abuja to be better than we have made it. So his claim, as far as we are concerned, is null and void, or their claims rather.
Okay, so what would you say with regard to the atmosphere?
The fact of the matter is that
yes,
there's a maxim in law that says re ipsa liquidator, the matter speaks for itself. APC is known for violence. Now, I want to. I'm coming. It's not an allegation.
That's a very strong.
Yes,
that's a very strong.
Yes, it is.
I want you to clarify.
Let me prove it. Let me prove it beyond all reasonable doubt. Let me prove it beyond.
We're not providing an environment.
I want to prove it.
We're not providing the ground for
I want to prove it.
Allegations that cannot be substantiated.
No, let me substantiate it.
Okay.
Fine. There was an election that had to do with the area council. Before the second term of the present chairman of AMAC. What happened, what we saw at Jikwe Primary School and what we saw at Ekwa Theological School, the former secretary to the federal government led talks. So I'm coming here.
That's another very fundamental allegation.
What I'm saying, these are not allegations. These are things that happen.
You need to prove that with evidence.
And mention personalities.
Sir, let me tell you, these are things that happen to the view of every Nigerian that were there.
Some will say election,
These were things that happened to the view of every one of us.
Yeah, I'm coming to that. Yes, talking about election. I'm talking about the environment now. In any election, perhaps you cannot say you have a zero, record of violence or and something like that. But then what we're saying is, looking at the atmosphere at the moment, would you say that with the security, agencies, with INEC providing the necessary level playing ground, and of course securing the election processes and materials, are you saying that this is not enough, to guarantee the confidence of the people towards a peaceful conduct of the election?
Well, for me, we are still constantly appealing to the security agencies to do the best they can to ensure that there is peace during and after the election. Let me quickly inform you what happened on Saturday. On Saturday, this Saturday that I've just passed, the PDP candidate was also on campaign when there was a confrontation between the two APC aspirants. As I speak with you, APC is not having a candidate but an aspirant.
There
was a clash at area 2.
This is an internal affair. I'll come to that.
I need to clear.
There was a clash at area 2. It is this man that does not know Abuja. This man seated here. This man seated here does not even know anywhere.
The commitment
I was a former councillor in Amak. This man does not know anything.
The commitment I want to
This man does not know anything.
Let me tell you.
Listen.
This man doesn't know anything.
Listen.
This man seated here does not know anything.
I'm in charge.
He doesn't know anything.
I'm in charge.
Can you?
The only thing I want you to do.
Then you allow him do it. Not for you to be shouting here.
Let me take.
It's very unfortunate that you are here because you don't know what you're doing.
I'm coming. The simple question I ask you.
Please mind your language. Mind your language, young man.
I think it's about time we take.
I'm coming. Do I care about your
language? I'm in charge here.
You are your charge. He was warning me. This boy was warning me.
You are responsible personalities. That is why.
But he was warning me.
That is why you are here. I expect you to.
He does not have any right to warn me.
Just a simple question. How confident are you, or how? How do you assess the environment?
This man should keep short.
How accessible and how free and fair is the atmosphere?
That's exactly what I was telling you. That is exactly what I was telling you. It's like you're not getting me. I am telling you of the situation we went through on Saturday.
Right.
This Saturday that just passed, I am just telling you the situation we went through. We were going on campaign at Area 1 when the two APC aspirants, Mutala and Suleiman Gwagwa, were also on campaign at the same area or the same road leading to Area 1.
Yeah. So if I understand your position, there is need, for the security agencies to rise up to the occasion and ensure that there's a level and a peaceful atmosphere. Is that the position?
Exactly.
Right. Okay, we have to take a break here. I understand, in case you're just joining us, it's Daily Politics. And we're looking at the FCT council elections that will be taking place on the 12th of this month, talking about, next Saturday. And I've been interfacing with two gentlemen, one from the ruling APC and the other from the PDP. Well, you understand why at some point, tempers will rise. We're talking about political contest here, but then we expect to be civil in our approach, to the issues. So it's about time we take a break. When we return, we'll engage other issues. Election is not just about, we're talking about all the necessary inputs, the environment, the campaign atmospherics, the promises and so on and so forth. So we'll also be engaging them on some of their intra-party or inter-party issues that could also define moments ahead of the election. Stay with us.
With a meal so great and so healthy, we've got your back. Oh, with Irisco, Regico, Nigico, 100% natural tomato paste. Irisco tomato paste. Aladu pelu. Nigico tomato paste. Nigico tomato.
Thank you very much for staying with us on Daily Politics, reaching you live from Trust TV here in Abuja, Nigeria's capital. And today we're looking at a very important event, talking about the FCT Council's election that will take place on the 12th of February this year. And of course, we're looking at the issues around the conduct of this exercise. And I've been interfacing with Mr. Adaji Usman, the PRO of the APC and the FCT, and of course Emmanuel Nyang, who is representing a PDP candidate in Amak, talking about Honorable Christopher Zaka Kalungu. Together we'll be looking at the issues very closely. Before the break, we're talking about the atmosphere, securing the environment and guaranteeing safety of the electorates and the stakeholders. Well, I understand we're deeper in terms of our understanding of the issues. But let me take you on the inter-party issue, which brought us to here. Now, the APC is having issues, I mean, especially in Amak and Gwagwalada, I think.
Intra or inter?
Intra.
Okay.
Now, as we speak, you know, two candidates are laying claim, you know, to the candidacy of Amak in APC. One Murtala, who, you know, was defeated at the Court of Appeal, but I understand there's also a Supreme Court judgment that is pending. So, and then we have the other person talking about Biggie or so, who is also going on campaign, you know. So this could be a very crucial moment for the APC. We've been talking about addressing inter-party squabbles that could lead, you know, to loss of chances in elections. How do you intend to manage this crisis? Because it's already having a spillover, just like Mr. Emmanuel is talking about.
No, there is nothing wrong with that. Even in 2010, we had a similar problem in the PDP in Buhari Council when the late Joanna Peter and same Musa Diko that contested that APC was also in PDP. I was in PDP then, you know. Both of them were laying claim to the ticket up to the election. We had a similar case there, but they never lost the election. The election was won by the party. Don't forget that INEC recognizes the party's logo. Our party is on the ballot. APC is on the ballot, and every other political party. Yeah. The issue here is this. I want to give you a very clear answer to this. Yeah. The issue here is we are respecters of laws. The law says Mr. A has been declared by the court. We sent the name initially of Murtala to INEC. And then when Suleiman went to court, the court decided that, in fact, at the initial court, at the High Court, Murtala was returned. But the appeal court, Suleiman was returned. Yeah. And then Murtala now proceeded to the Supreme Court. Now, ordinarily, because the matter is in court, we do not have any reason why we should interfere with that issue until the matter is decided. That's right. So at this point, we allow the law to take its course. And that is what you are saying.
Yeah, but how would that affect the chances? Because if that cannot be resolved, you know, before the election, some would say that would likely affect, you know, the chances of the APC.
Both candidates, they call them, as far as I call them, candidates. Both candidates
we can't have two candidates. Can only have one candidate.
We have a candidate, but that is the candidate that would have been decided by the court at the end of the day, because definitely the court will rule in favor of one of those who are laying claim to the ticket. So you know that whatever it says in politics, the last arbiter is the court. And once the court decides, it stands. And that is exactly what we're waiting for.
In the same almost like scenario, you know, you're also having challenges in Gwagwalada.
No, not Gwagwalada,
Abaji. Where a candidate, I mean, one of your party aspirants, you know, was shortchanged, so to speak, and then he decided to defect to the PDP. I'm talking, is it?
No, there was no defection in Gwagwalada. It's Gwagwalada. He has not defected. What happened was
and then he got a ticket in
No, he didn't defect. He is the second timer. The sitting chairman of Gwagwalada Area Council is the second timer. The vice chairman, actually contested for the primaries in the APC. When he lost, he decided to seek opportunity in the PDP. So we're talking about the vice chairman now, not
some
the chairman.
say he's a popular candidate, and the fact that
that will be proven by the 12th. On the 12th, we'll know whether he's popular or otherwise.
Well,
so I think there is no point in talking about how popular or otherwise.
Mr. Emmanuel, I'm sure, is on there, the 12th. And the PDP are there to consolidate,
on the 12th.
To take advantage of this. How prepared are you? Because it could be, you know, an opportunity for you to stage a comeback, perhaps.
Well, for we as a party, we are not interested in any internal affairs of the APC. They should be able to solve their problems. And for us, as a party, we are consolidating on a daily basis. And we are doing our best to ensure that we preach the gospel to the people who are going to decide on the 12th of February. At the end of it all.
So you're not expecting any possible miracle from these two local governments and two area councils?
Well, you see, like I earlier said, I alone cannot decide. He alone cannot decide. The three of us seated here alone cannot decide. The masses who will come out on the 12th of February will take a decision of their life.
Right.
And like we all agree, the umpire is INEC. None of us as political parties are umpire.
Yeah.
So it is only INEC, after counting the ballot, declare the result. And that is where all the other political parties, mind you, we don't have only PDP and APC.
There are other political
there are
parties.
other political parties who have also filled in candidates for this same election.
That's right.
So it is at that point of declaration that any of us will now know which party that has gotten the day.
Right.
But for we as a party, we are very, very mindful of going to the grassroots to talk to them.
So you're taking your campaigns to the grassroots and, of course, preaching, telling them what you can do in terms of better, getting their lives, making their lives better.
Exactly.
Okay. Coming back to the other critical stakeholders, we've been talking about the atmosphere in terms of, securing the environment, Again, INEC, which is the electoral umpire, is coming up with two key reforms, if I should put it that way. They are, deploying two technologies. There is this issue of the deployment of the VBAS, which is the bimodal voter verification, system.
Exactly.
Which was used, during the Anambra election. And again, they're also deploying what they call the IREB, which is the result, viewing portal, which is real time.
Electronically.
Exactly.
Electronically.
Exactly.
Yeah. So these are critical reforms in the system.
Yeah.
And how are you adjusting, or how are you ready to take advantage of this?
We're very comfortable with those.
Right.
Very, very comfortable. And so far so good. We have engaged in the training of our agents and other persons that will be involved at the electioneering, in the electioneering processes. So we've been able to train them, we've been able to tell them what they should expect or what they will be expecting and what is expected of them. So far so good. We are very comfortable with those reforms. And for me, we don't need to be static. What is constant in life is change. So we need to begin to come up with these reforms so that our democracy can be better than what we met, and then we need to bequeath a very good democracy for those coming behind us.
Right.
So for me, I think INEC is doing well.
Okay, how do you think some of these things, that are being brought into the system by INEC would assist in guaranteeing a credible exercise? Over the years, it has been, there has been challenges with regards to collation of results, transmission of, result and what have you. It takes time. But here we are with a system that would guarantee perhaps INEC even providing or announcing the result on the election day. How are you looking at this?
Honestly, for us, kudos to INEC. We are very, very comfortable and happy with all the reforms that are taking place so far. Right. And we are also grateful to INEC for the training they have been giving out to all the political parties. And we in turn train our agents and others so that we will, like he rightly said, reforms are things that every person must always be willing to imbibe, because you can't be static. And on a daily basis, new things keep coming up. We learn and improve upon our technology. And for us, honestly, that idea of snatching result sheet,
ballot boxes.
Yes. And again, you see, it has made in such a way that you cannot manipulate figures. If only one person is accredited, it is expected that only one person will be announced. You cannot import figures. And I want to believe that you also discover that it will minimize the level of litigation after election. Because you see it that you were not manipulated in any way. That the people decided what they want.
It adds to the credibility of the outcome.
Exactly. Seriously, on a very serious note, it will.
Okay.
It will.
Okay. Mr. Adaji, one fundamental function or responsibility of political parties is also creating awareness, political mobilization, mobilizing the people, creating awareness in terms of how they should conduct themselves, what they should expect, and what have you. Beyond just telling them what you want to do for them, it is your responsibility as political parties to also engage in voter education and enlightenment.
Yeah.
How are you taking this very serious function?
That we have engaged in seriously. We started doing that most about 2 or 3 months back. We didn't wait for this time. We have been going from villages to villages, church to church, mosque to mosque, trying to educate the people on the need, first and foremost, to have a very free and fair, credible election. 2, we also try to make the people understand. Let me give you a particular instance, like Buhari Area Council.
Yeah.
The candidates of the PDP and that of the APC are like brothers. They are Guaris. So if we go fighting ourselves and then destroying properties and everything, at the end of the day, we're returning back to the same home as brothers most from the same family. So there was no need for all that rancor and bickering. So we have educated the people so much on what we expect them to do, because we need, like I said, ab initio, we need to bequeath a good legacy for those coming after us.
Right.
And I have also talked about fundamentally this issue of trying to ensure that violence and then vote buying is completely eradicated from our politics. For instance, if I am qualified by our standard to be in a particular office and then I don't have the money to buy votes, I mean, I will be shut out. And most of us are not comfortable with that. I've been in politics of FCT right from zero party up to, that is about 1994-95 till date. And I've held various offices politically.
You have seen the transformation,
process and everything all through till date, so I understand. So
right.
for me, I think we've spoken to them enough, and it's never enough. Let me just put it that way. We'll continue to do our best until we have good reform.
Mr. Emmanuel, a critical component of the electorate, talking about women and youths, looking at the configuration or the numbers in terms of those aspiring and those given opportunities by political parties, you will discover that women have been largely shortchanged, except in few cases where you find them aspiring, I mean, as vice or deputizing for the candidates. We don't have much of the involvement of women, in particular, in politics, especially of the FCT. Why are we having this? Or how is PDP changing the narrative in this circumstance?
Honestly, women have been an issue. Saw themselves initially as persons who were not supposed to be involved in politics at the initial stage of politicking in the Federal Capital Territory. But of recent, I have been in politics in this town for more than 30 years.
30 decades.
Yes,
it's not,
you see, I was here during the Zero Party. I was here during the UNCP era. I was a former member of the State ESCO of the PDP in Abuja. I was a former youth leader of the party in Abuja Municipal Area Council. I was a former vice chairman of UNCP in Nyanya Ward. So I've been in this business for a very long time. The women have been coming out. But you see, among them, if a candidate or an aspirant who is a woman comes out, you hardly see that team up, even from the women fold.
But how are you encouraging them? Because
that's where I'm going.
You also need to encourage them.
That's where I'm going. You see, but of recent, where it is made compulsory that particular positions must be given to women. For example, in delegates, initially you find it difficult that you can have a long list of delegates without finding women. But of today, specifically, a particular segment of a position must be given to a woman. And for example, if you have to have 5 delegates, let's assume chairman, vice chairman, secretary, youth leader, and a woman leader must be included. And again, if they say 3 delegates,
but have they been responding to this? Yes, I understand we have to make concession for them.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. For example, now, you discover that in the past, you hardly see them coming up, but concessions have been given to them to encourage them. One, by ensuring that they don't pay a particular sum of money, so that on its own will not intimidate them to stay out. That is to encourage them to be part of it, by ensuring that money is not a barrier Again, there is something we've also do as a party. We create a forum for women where in that forum, they are all advised to be part of whatever is going on. And in forming cabinet, you discover that most times women are always given a particular different. For example, let me use example of the APC. The present council secretary is a woman, and that is encouraging. You understand? So it helps other women who have seen her as a council secretary.
I think one of the candidates even has
is a woman.
Yes,
from,
as his running mate, a woman.
The running mate Suleiman.
Yes,
is also a woman. So only female councillor is from Ushafa.
Okay, as we're rounding up, beyond allowing, to discourage youth from involving in political thuggery and what have you, youth's involvement in politics is also very critical. Some have been canvassing for a paradigm shift, getting youths involved in the scheme of things, in political participation or activities. How is the APC, which is the ruling party, responding to this? Yeah,
we adequately. We have taken further steps to ensure that we bring in the youths. Like 90% of our councillors are all youths. That is at the local government level now. The present candidate of Buhari Council is a young man of about 30, between 32 to 35. They understand 35, thereabout. The candidate, just like the young man too in PDP, presently in that office, is also a very young man. So I think the youths are fully involved in the politics of FCT presently. But there is something I must say here clearly because of time, before the time runs out. I think it's a high time youth comes together in sincerity to be able to clinch power. And how are they able to do this? Look, I can assure you that if you have 100
power is not just given on the platform.
I'm going to somewhere. I'm going to somewhere. Just hold on, because of time. I'm going to somewhere. If you bring in 100 youths here now, and you want to educate them on what they need to do to ensure that they get themselves fully involved in politics. Once money is not involved, if you are going to spend 1 hour there, after 30 minutes, out of 100, maybe 10 or thereabout will be the only numbers that will be left. That is if they will be there. So there is need for the youth to bring themselves together, put this issue of money aside, and then sit down and think of their future. Discuss. When they say youth are the leaders of tomorrow, the tomorrow is here, is now. So they need to take the bull by the horn and drop this issue of money. They don't need to be enticed by money, because that is what the other ones do most times. When they bring out this money and entice them, they begin to run after them and then forget about their aspirations. And that is not good enough.
Okay, Mr. Emmanuel, we're rounding up. What are your expectations as we go into these polls on Saturday in terms of the general expectations of stakeholders like you in the party? I'm sure you are already aligning with the need to have a rancor-free exercise, a peaceful election, and of course that will produce a credible outcome. What is your expectation? How are you looking at what is going to happen, in the next couple of days?
Yes, like you rightly said, everybody will be so happy to have a peaceful election. In the APC, most of the APC stalwart are my friends. Some of them were in PDP before they crossed over to APC. Some too were in APC before.
Especially now with the absence of ideology.
Before they cross over, before they cross over to APC, to PDP. So we are all friends, like Suleiman Gwagwa. When he served as a supervisory councillor for works, I served as supervisory councillor special duties and spokesman of council. So we served together. Now, again, Honorable Candido was also in PDP in the past, and today is in APC. So that relationship and friendliness must continue to grow. Because election will come and go.
That's right.
For us.
But you remain.
Yes.
That is why myself and Honorable here shouldn't be cracking.
No worry. We're coming to that. Let me get your last line first.
Elections will come and go.
Let me get your last line first. Mr. Adaji. Let me get your last line.
Well, for me, I think first and foremost, we need political ideology. If you are a conservative, you should be a conservative. If you're a progressive, you should be a progressive. That is one. And then secondly, there is no need for bickering, no need for rancor. We are friends and we'll continue to remain friends. You never can tell Tomorrow I'll be in the same political party with him, and so on and so forth. So I think that
I really want to see that demonstrated because I know you are gentlemen, you're friends, you've been together. I want to see that demonstrated so that the younger ones will also realize that beyond all the tension and what have you, we can come back together as friends and family.
But we are already friends. And the only difference is that he will accept defeat.
I don't know if he's taking that.
We'll wait for the truth.
Quite interesting. I really like that. So on this note, we come to the end of daily politics. And of course, I've been interfacing with two gentlemen talking about Mr. Adaji, who is representing the APC here, and Mr. Emmanuel, who is also of the PDP. Thank you very much, gentlemen.
Thank you. I'm grateful.
It's about time.
Thank you very much.
I really appreciate you.
Yes.
That's a great one. Okay, on behalf of the technical crew and gentlemen who have been here to discuss the perspectives, especially as we approach the FCT Council's elections, my name is Shafiu Suleiman. Have a wonderful time ahead.
For almost 1 year now, these women and children have been waiting to hear the news of their men's whereabouts. But so far, there seems to be no good news for them. They say their husbands were initially invited by security operatives to respond to some questions, but since then, they have not either come home nor sent a word regarding their situation.
The villagers here say bandits blocked road, harass, assault, rob, and to some extent kill passengers and other road users severally on the same spot. Tasharbiri village, which has a population of over 5,000 people, have been deserted for the fear of attack by bandits and other criminals. The villagers who flee the community to other locations for safety called on the government to deploy more security personnel to protect them from the brutality of the suspected bandits.
8:30 p.m. Kidnappers, they are out from the bush beside our town with their gun. About 8 people, 8 kidnappers. They are blocked the road.
These criminals are giving us serious headache. We don't know what to do. Government need to do something about it. We are tired and we are weak. They, however, lamented the inaction of military personnel who are just 1 kilometer away from the village to their camp at Marabar Dang Ali. Back at the family house of Aliu Ibrahim at Yantumaki town, people were seen trooping to register their condolences. Badia Aliu, who is his widow, expressed shock and lament the incessant killings occasioned by the contemporary insecurity situation bedeviling Katsina and other northwestern states. The day he left, I saw some strange things on his face. His son was waving at him as he went out of this house. Something happened and he turned back as if he forgot something. He came in twice and went out, though he didn't utter a word.
The update is that